Emesis Blue is a topic I have always wanted to cover on this channel. This independent SFM film was something that was brought to my attention 2 years ago on its release, and I won't lie, when I first heard the premise of it, I was skeptical about how good it could really be. A horror film set in the Team Fortress 2 universe sounds like something that wouldn't work on a fundamental level to me. The setting just seemed too cartoonish, too colorful and over the top to justify a dark, morbid story being told in it. Then, after being convinced to do so by a couple of friends, I watched the film and very quickly realized that I'd underestimated the potential that it had for effective horror. This film, despite my expectations, is incredibly disturbing. And to give you an idea of why I feel this way, I want to analyze one specific scene in the film, a scene that I feel gives you a small glimpse into how well crafted this entire thing is as an overall package. The scene I want to talk about is one that I will be referring to as Scout Comes Home. It happens incredibly early on, within the first 12 minutes of the film, in fact, and it was the scene that made me realize the kind of movie I was going to be watching. The scene opens with Scout arriving home after being treated by the medic, watching TV as his mother talks to him off screen. It may not seem like it on a first viewing, but even before anything overtly scary happens, just from this opening alone, we can see signs that something bad is going to happen. As Scout talks to his mother, we get occasional glimpses at the show he's watching, a black and white film that depicts a group of children playing ball. At first, it may seem as though this film was chosen arbitrarily, but it's the dialogue on this program and the small events that happen which act as foreshadowing of what is to come. The first time we see this screen, the children are saying, quote, "Soon the man in black will come." And as the scene plays out and Scout continues innocently talking to his mother, they can continue to be heard counting down to this man in black's inevitable arrival. Eventually, the TV and the conversation go quiet as we then see the shadow of a man come into frame. Right as this happens, Scout's mother speaks once more, but something is noticeably off. Her regular tone is distorted, all emotion lost from her voice.
So how was the doctor, dear?
Fine.
Did you ask him to stop by?
Tried.
Dinner's ready, dear.
Okay, hang on.
Before we have time to process this bizarre change, the phone rings. Scout picks it up, and on the other end is a recording of his own voice, repeating lines we've already heard throughout the film.
Thanks for the ride, Doc. You sure you don't want to come in? At least say hi to Mom? What did you... Who is this? You really gotta get out more often, Doc. What the hell is this? Who are you? Hey, Ma! I'm home!
Where the hell have you been?
Panic begins to rise for both Scout and the audience as it is now made apparent that something genuinely wrong is afoot. Scout questions the voice on the other end, demanding answers, when suddenly this happens. This is the moment that I believe makes this scene truly terrifying. Everything we have discussed so far builds to this, and the payoff is well worth it. There are quite a few elements that go into this moment to make it as disturbing as it is, so I'll try to break them down for you now in a way that best puts it into perspective. The first thing I want to discuss is the fact that this entire ending sequence, even if it doesn't immediately appear as such, is a very well done jump scare. Now, when you hear the term jump scare, I'm sure at least a few of you may be confused by that, because typically in horror media, a jump scare is characterized as being a loud, sudden noise that catches you off guard. While that is a form of jump scare, what we see here can also be considered one. Scout turns to see something out of our view, with us only being able to see his reaction initially before it abruptly cuts to the distorted visual of his mother's corpse staring back at him. With the way this shot is framed, you may not even immediately notice what is wrong when it initially cuts to it. Scout's mother is just far enough from the camera that she's partially obscured, and once you finally do notice her, her features are obscured and warped. You need time to process what you're looking at, time that the film does not afford, as the camera very quickly turns to the opposite side of the room to reveal a masked intruder. This, in my opinion, is easily the scariest part of the entire scene. The film already does an effective job at scaring the viewer with what is already there, so to suddenly pan over to a completely new and unfamiliar character is a perfect way to release the absurd amounts of tension that has already been built. And this sudden reveal of this intruder called the Butcher in the film works perfectly in tandem with the reveal of the mother's corpse for all the same reasons. The character is veiled in black, almost appearing as a pale face floating in the corner of the room. You cannot make out all their features, and that adds to the mystery of who or what this intruder is. And as for the one part of their design that can clearly be made out, their face is so far out of frame and is visible for such a short period that it is genuinely hard to tell if what you're looking at is a real face or a pale mask. Everything about this character is mysterious. Their appearance, their behavior, their intentions. Nothing is given to us at this moment, and it makes you fear what will happen to the Scout once the camera cuts away and we're left to simply wonder. This terrifying moment is just a small piece that happens at the very beginning of this film, and I feel it does an incredibly effective job at hooking the viewer and making them want to see more of the world it sets out to create. I know it invested me, and by making this video, I hope that it potentially inspired some of you to go and watch it for yourself. I know that Emesis Blue doesn't exactly need me to praise it for people to watch it. The thing has over 10 million views right now, but in making this video, I hope to at least give some of you a small glimpse into what this film is capable of so that you can understand why it works as effectively as it does. It's a favorite of mine, and I'm just glad to finally getting around to talking about it. Anyways though, that'll be all from me for now. I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I cannot wait to see you here again for whatever my next project ends up being. Goodbye for now.